Lucifer Part 2. I am the root and the descendant of David, the bright morning star. Revelation 2:16. All three references to the morning star point to Jesus or thing Jesus says or gives. In the Vulgate the word morning star in 2 Peter is even translated as Lucifer. In the other two references it is stella matutina. It is puzzling that lightning should be used in relation to Satan in Luke 10:18, especially when one considers two other references to lightning in the New Testament, Matthew 24:27 and Luke 17:24. These two references connect lightning with the Son of Man or Jesus and his second coming, which is understandable when one studies ancient religious symbolism. In Judeo-Christian thought, lightning is a symbol of God's immediate presence, or of the Last Judgment. Lightning, Dictionary of Symbolism, Hans Biderman, Penguin Books, New York, 1992. Even when we put aside the question of what God's opponent should be called, the fact remains that the story of a rebellious angel who fell because of pride is not in the Bible at all. Some claim that the fallen Satan is present from the very beginning, even though his name does not appear in Genesis. Paul suggested that the serpent was Satan, the implication being that Satan tempted Adam. Yet most of the early church fathers believed that Satan fell after Adam. It took the church over 200 years to establish that Satan's sin was pride, that he fell before the creation of man, and that he was the serpent that tempted Adam and Eve. To find the story of the fall of Satan, we must go to sources other than the Bible. There was a great deal of literature produced roughly between 200 BC and 150 AD, including the Apocrypha and the Pseudepigrapha. Some of these are apocalyptic. They prophesy cataclysmic events and the end of the world. In this literature one can see the development of the idea of an evil spirit, but even in the apocalyptic literature the devil does not become entirely evil in his origin and essence. Many of the books from this period reflect the misery of the Jewish people under the oppression of Syria and Rome. Their writings deal with visions of the end of the world being in the power of the devil, and the Messiah conquering the devil, and bringing a new era of justice. The Book of Enoch is seen by many as one of the earliest and most important accounts of the mishaps of the heavenly court of angels. It also describes the rebellion of the angel Satan and his being hurled from heaven, to Enoch, chapter 29, long MSS only. Some scholars take this to mean that the amalgamation of Satan and Lucifer goes back to the 1st century. A redating of 2 Enoch, however, puts it later than the 3rd century, perhaps even in the 7th. For this reason others suggest that Origen, Exhort 18, was probably the inventor of the identification of Lucifer with Satan. The Early Christian Tradition, Jeffrey Burton Russell, Cornell University Press, Ithaca, 1991, page 130 and fn. The Life of Adam and Eve, Vita, a Jewish scripture that scholars date between 200 BC and 200 AD, relates that Satan tells Adam and Eve that his fall from heaven is the result of his refusal to worship Adam, the image of God. A similar account is also found in the Quran, S234. These legends reflect a theme close to the primordial pride that led to the so-called fall of Satan. Since the Old Testament does not connect pride or the fall with Satan, the devil, or the adversary, the only scriptural support for this notion is the misinterpretation of the fall of Lucifer, the king of Babylon, and certain passages in the New Testament. But the New Testament does not give any clear information on the fall of Satan through pride either. One place where Lucifer is connected with pride is in Milton's Paradise Lost. He applied the name to the demon of sinful pride Lucifer, A Dictionary of Angels, Gustav Davidson, The Free Press, New York, 1967. It appears that the whole story of Lucifer as Satan, the fallen rebellious angel, is based entirely on non-canonical sources, the so-called Apocrypha and Pseudepigrapha. There are also many pre-Christian myths and allegories that include stories about Lucifer, which is the Latin name for the Greek Eosphorus. In his Theogony Hesiod speaks of two divine beings, the brothers Eosphorus, the morning star, and Hesperus, the evening star. They are the children of Astraeus, the starry heaven, and Eos, the dawn. The morning star, like the Virgin of the Sea, is one of the titles given to divine mother goddesses such as the Roman Venus, the Phoenician Astarte, the Jewish Ashtoreth, and the later Christian Holy Virgin. In the oldest Zoroastrian allegories, Mithra is supposed to have conquered the planet Venus. In the Christian tradition, Michael defeats Lucifer. The planet Venus is the light bringer, the first radiant beam that does away with the darkness of night. It is a symbol of the development of the divine light in man, for the first awakening of self-consciousness, for independent thinking, and the real application of free will. It means the bringing of the light of compassionate understanding to the human mind. In this broader view the connection of the morning star with Jesus makes good sense, because compassion is the essence of Jesus' teaching. This teaching shows the greatest consensus throughout the New Testament. It is mentioned in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Romans, Galatians, 1 Thessalonians, Hebrews, 1 John, James, and 1 Peter. The best-known reference is in Matthew 22:37-40. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.